One thing to take note, if they're a different religion of you, I think I mentioned this before, you cannot offer a royal marriage. Um, they can be a different religion, but heretics, and you can do it, just not against heathen religions. For example, my nation's Hindu, but these are Buddhist over here, and I can still offer a royal marriage. But again, they might not accept it, depending on relations or whatever. I'll send one to Raj Bhatana. And we'll do one to my glorious ally, Orissa, which they might accept. And yeah, they did. So our relations have improved. And if you see up here, I have this little thing saying a loan is coming due. I borrowed my money, and my first loan will be coming and need to be repaid by August 1st, 1406. So when that date comes, I'll have the option to either repay that loan or extend that loan. And I really want to repay that loan, so I'm going to hopefully have enough money to do that by then. Which it looks like I might not be able to do, at least for a while, because I'm only gaining 11.97 per year, which is not the greatest. I could remedy that by increasing my treasury, sort of sliding this, and so my expenses are less than my income. But as I said before, that'll increase my inflation, and it can sometimes be a good idea to increase your inflation a little bit, maybe something manageable, so that in the future you can hire some great men, or you can get the national idea of the national bank to reduce your inflation every month or every year. But sometimes you can increase your inflation a lot higher, a lot faster than you can decrease it. So it may help in the short run, but not in the long run. I'm just checking out the political status of my vassals here. See if anybody's kind of protecting them or whatever. But they shouldn't be, because they're a vassal of me, and I have all the political diplomatic says in what they do. Unless, of course, they want to declare war on me. Hmm. I have another magistrate here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and enact another provincial decision and conduct a population census instead. See, I have 13,894 civilians here, and this can either increase that or decrease that. And 12,505. As usual for me, it went the wrong way, reduced my population. But I'm still going to get a benefit from that, because my growth increased by like 10%, and there's more taxes going, so it'll kind of help me out, get a little bit more each year. As you can see now, it's up to like 17.96 annually. Now, this Terra Incognita that you see, depending on the game settings, this will be revealed to you throughout the course of the game, either faster or slower. Right now I have it at the default settings of about 50 years for land and 50 years for sea. What this means is that in about a period of 50 years, many of these terra incognita pieces that have been discovered by other nations will start becoming known to us, and we'll start learning a little bit more about the world. If if you don't want to wait for that period of time, um, you could have like a national idea here, which I can't see the options, but there's a national idea for exploring the new world, or one for being able to hire explorers. recruit explorers and conquistadors, which will let you explorers will be able to explore sea areas that have terra incognita, and conquistadors will be able to explore land and land terra incognita. Like I'd be able to send an explorer up to explore these areas. But right now I don't have the ability for a national idea, so I can't do that. And to do that anyway, it requires colonists, which as a Indian or a Chinese or New World nation, you do not get any colonist at all per year to start with. The only nations that get colonists to start per year, which I think is one per year, are the Christian nations in Western Europe or in the Mediterranean. So right now that's not an option for me, not a viable option. I can't even get my technology level up to 4 right now for another 30 years as it is. Yeah, 25 years now, so because my taxes have gone up a little bit, putting a little bit more money into technology. One thing I haven't really discussed yet, I have my ruler here. You can see that he's not the greatest. He's administrative skill of 4, which gives me these certain benefits. Diplomacy of 3, which gives some benefits there, and military of 6. He's a very good, a relatively good military leader, but not great for the other things. His heir, however, whenever he dies, which he was inaugurated in 77, so I don't really know how old he is. I don't know if there's a way to tell how old he is. But when he dies, a certain number of things will happen. As you see here, on monarch death, a pretender might rise, my heir might succeed to the throne, or if my heir's gone, if I don't have an heir, if he dies, anybody I'm in a royal marriage with might have a claim to the throne. But I have an heir. He's 28 years old, and he seems to be a lot better than his father in his skills. His administration's one higher, his diplomacy's one higher, and his military is about the same. So he'll be a slightly better leader if it happens. And it could very well be that this guy's not, he's like 50 years old before his father actually dies and he succeeds to the throne. Or there's a good chance I might have an event that he dies, there's a hunting accident or whatever, and I'd have no heir, in which case I have to wait for another baby to be born to be able to lay claim to the throne. And if I had an heir, but he was too young while my current ruler had died, then there would be a regency council, which means that I wouldn't have a leader, but I'd have a regency council that will kind of manage the country until my heir is old enough to be able to take the throne himself. It's not a good thing, but it doesn't end your nation if your heir dies before if your king dies before your heir is of a proper age to take the throne. And even if your heir dies and your king dies and you have no heir, it's not the end of your nation, I don't believe, because I believe, like I said, you might become in a personal union with another nation because of a royal marriage, and be sort of an underling to that nation because of their personal union with you as the greater nation in that personal union. But usually you don't have to worry about that because heirs get born even if there's no current heir. They'll eventually be a baby that gets born that can eventually take the throne. Okay, I have 3 loans coming up. Oh my goodness. All in 1406, August, November, and November. I didn't realize I took out 3 loans. I thought it was just 2, but I guess I'll have to repay all those back, or rather I want to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and actually increase my inflation a little bit, kind of mint some more coins. Not a whole lot, but just enough to get a little bit more every year or every month until those loans come up. This is going to be 0.60 each year, which is quite horrible, but I'm just going to deal with the consequences of that. My income is 9.6 and my monthly expenses are 7.8, so I'm currently at a profit. Instead of losing money every month, I'm going to be gaining money, as you can see. And by the end of each year, if it was a full year, I would have gained 87. So I can spend a couple years gaining this extra money and then kind of bring my slider back down so I can have my inflation not increase at all, but not decrease, unless I had a great man or a national idea to decrease that, or an event. But because next year I want to be able to pay off my loan, I'm going to increase this so I'll be able to have enough money, because I have to pay off over 120 depicts, and I'm not going to be able to get that if I don't increase my inflation. And I don't want to extend the loans because I don't want to have the risk of going bankrupt. And of course, once those loans are repaid, my interest will be down to 0, and that'll be good because that's even fewer expenses that I have to pay to the interest on my loan. I won't have to pay that. I'll be able to put it back towards technology and maybe get a little bit more money at the end of each year. Looks like Marissa is now at a truce with Decon here. And it looks like Decon's no longer at war with anybody, so nothing really happened with them. My ally Rajputana appears still kind of getting destroyed by Delhi, as well as rebels, liberation armies, which it looks like they're about to crush right now. The thing with rebel armies, unlike regular standing armies of a nation, they're a lot easier to completely obliterate. They may retreat once or twice, but about after that, if you can beat them successively, they'll be completely destroyed. Huh. Oh, no, yep, see, it looks like Rajputana won against the rebels, and they're retreating back to this province that they have occupied. A call to arms. The nation of Orissa, your faithful ally, is requesting that you come to their aid in the conflict against Gondwana. This is a war that they have started. If I did this, I'd get -1 stability loss because I have good relations with Gondwana, relations of 135. And if I declare this war, I will also lose another stability because I have a royal marriage. Gondwana is also allied with Manipur and Nepal. Nepal's up here, kind of insignificant. I'm not sure where Manipur is, but they're probably up here somewhere. But I'm friendly with them, and I have a royal marriage, and they're really insignificant. I don't really want to get involved in that war, so I'm going to go ahead and decline. Because I decline, I'm going to lose significant relations with Orissa, my ally that actually helped me before. But then they'll also gain a casus belli against me. But I'm hoping that they won't take advantage of that, and they'll eventually lose that casus belli. But our alliance will be dissolved with them anyway. I'm not really too worried about that. I don't want to get involved in their war of aggression, even though they helped me with mine. But I don't think they have a casus belli. Let's see. See here, they have dishonored call casus belli on Bihar, which means Bihar was allied with them, and they declined to declare war on Gondwana. Okay, and their casus belli they have in Gondwana is subjugation. So that's probably the casus belli they're using. They have a casus belli against them, but they're subjugating them, and I don't really want to get involved with them in that war. It's too tiny. I'm not really gonna. They'll probably win it before I get involved. I'm not gonna do it. I still have the casus belli against them, but I don't think I'm no longer allied with Orissa. As you can see, I'm still now only allied with Rajputana. And because I'm no longer allied, I can't see their armies. I can't see what they're doing up there. Kind of sucks, but I'm going to have to deal with that. I'm in no way, shape, or form to get involved in a war and reduce my prestige anymore, which is still decaying further and further. I need to get my prestige up, which means I need to win some wars, occupy some countries, but I don't want to do that yet until I pay these loans off at the very least and gain some more stability in my nation. Speaking of stability, it's not exactly what I meant, but as you can see, I'm at level 3 here, and it's a maximum level, and it's no longer having any funding. So every time you lose stability, this will have to be rebuilt back up. It's fairly quick, but if you go below 0 stability, you'll have some really severe consequences on your nation, revolts, that sort of thing. Let's speed up the game a little bit. Get closer to the loan due date. The reason I have it auto-saving every month is that sometimes the game will crash, and if you have it auto-saving every year, you can lose a lot of progress in your game, and there's certain things in the game that causes the game to crash, so I recommend having an autosave of every year. And if you want to, you can, of course, save the game out whenever you want to, of course, in addition to your autosaves, which I usually do, but sometimes being reliant on saves can kind of destroy the enjoyment of the game because you'll save and load, try to get the best outcome. That's I don't recommend. But I do it sometimes anyway. So one of the things that I know that causes the game to crash, at least for me, is when I go into the ledger here and I start clicking next a bunch of times, go into some of the things, that'll definitely crash the game for me. So I recommend not doing that if you know it's going to crash it for you. Some of the things in the ledger you can click on, but for some reason there seems to be a bug that crashes the game when you're going through all of them. And of course this ledger is a good way to see certain things in the world, comparison, military, etc. Like who's getting the most income. Like for me, my income is second out of all the nations that I currently know, next to the Timurids, which are almost double what I'm making. So doesn't really mean a whole lot because my economic situation is still pretty grim. So once I repay these loans here in August and November and December, why do I have a third loan? I mean a fourth loan. I know I had 3, but I guess I had 4. How weird. That's a lot of money I have to repay back. So this is why being in a war and you're taking out loans, if you can't actually finance that war safely, is a really bad idea. It looks like Gondwana is kicking Orissa's butt, at least for the time being. Even though they're kind of tiny nation. But you can see roughly a year has passed and my inflation is now at 0.6. And as you can see, as this inflation increases, the expenses for doing everything increases as well. Building buildings, recruiting people, your technology costs, everything is just more expensive. Okay, I'm repaying that loan, and my interest has dropped. I have another loan in a couple months to repay. Now, you don't necessarily have to repay these loans. As I said, you can extend them, and eventually declare bankruptcy, but that will have serious negative consequences, and I believe it'll actually increase your inflation. It used to be that it decreased a little bit whenever you declared bankruptcy, it would have it, but I think they changed that, so it'll actually increase it now. So you can't just crank up your inflation to get all that money, and then just every time you declare bankruptcy, you have it. So now I think it's actually really detrimental. I'm paying this other loan. And hopefully this final loan, which I don't have enough money to repay. Okay, good, that's next year, December of 1407, so I'll be able to have enough by then. And one of the things when you're playing these, especially these technologically weaker nations, or like a smaller nation, sometimes I like playing these really, really tiny nations that are difficult, like Ceylon. A lot of the game is spent just passing time, passing the years by to get what you want done, and taking things slowly. If you were a Western nation in Europe, you wouldn't be increasing the time as much, because a lot more things would be happening around you every year. You might be expanding quicker because you're more powerful. There might be more wars going on around you because there's so many nations all tightly compacted together over in Western Europe. And of course, you're not waiting dozens of years for each technological increase. Sometimes, like if I'm playing, I was playing one country down here, I would spend most of my time, I would just have it on fastest speed, just increasing until I got my first technological level, government technological level up to level 4, so I can get my national idea. And that's something you can do. Just know that these starting nations are fairly boring. Oh, great. Nation of Rajputana, faithful allies requesting that you come their aid. This is a war that they started. Again, a really, really tiny nation here, and they're guaranteed by Deccan and Delhi and Brunei, which is way over here. Oh wait, Brunei is the defender of the faith. They're way over here, and they'll protect them too, which means they might send their land ships over here and harass me. Or rather, send their ships over here and land their troops to harass me. There's a lot of people guaranteeing them that I don't want to wage war with Deccan again, or Delhi, which will probably travel through here and crush me. So I'm just going to decline this. It's a war of aggression, and they're just going to win this war easily. So I don't want to do it. I'm going to lose my ally. I'm gonna have no military allies after this, but that's what I'm going to have to deal with. This is one of the bad things. You don't always want to be in a military alliance, because sometimes your allies are going to be declaring wars that you do not want to get involved in. And when you're in it and you have to decline, they may attack you for declining. They get that casus belli on you for dishonoring the call, and of course your relations that you had good with them will be reduced. I didn't have that great of relations with them. I have 30, but when I decline, now I'm at negative 19. So, I'm just going to have to live with the consequences. Okay, I have another magistrate here, so on this Madurai place, fairly high population. I'm gonna go ahead and enact. Oh, I can't enact it. Okay, on Kongdu, I'm gonna enact a population census, get some more tax revenue. They reduce my population again. I always seem to get the worst, the short end of the stick there. But I'll still get more tax money in the end. And once I pay off this loan, I'm going to go ahead and declare war on and try to annex my vassals here. Now, I don't have to declare war on my vassals to annex them, and it's not really the best thing to do. But my standing with them is not the greatest, and as you can see here, to demand annexation, you have to have been your vassal for at least 10 years, which I think they qualify for. During which time you have not peacefully annexed some other vassal, and with whom you have a relation of more than 190. I don't have a relation of 190, but maybe I want to actually peacefully annex one of these people and then kind of aggressively annex the other. So what I'm going to try to do, they each have 150. I'm going to send a... first I'm not going to send a royal... I'm not going to start a royal marriage, because that, when I declare war, that's going to reduce my stability. But instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send a gift. I'm going to try Travancore here. I'm going to send a gift. That increases it to 162. And I'm going to wait a month until I can send another. No, not this time. I'm going to send another gift, and I'm going to try to get my relations up to 190 and see if I can peacefully annex them, and then militarily annex Mysore here, since they're the smaller of the two. It'll be a shorter, a sweeter victory. And I think yeah, I have a reconquest casus belli on both of them, so that's kind of good. I won't have to declare that war without a casus belli. I'm going to send another gift. Just remember, when you're sending these gifts to do these things, that money can be very valuable to you, so you have to really weigh the cost of whether you want to send that gift or not. And now my relations are at max with Travancore here at 200. I'm going to wait one more month so I can get my other diplomat to get there. And then I'm going to try a peaceful annexation and see how that goes. See if they'll accept or not. And if they don't accept, I'll just crush them militarily. I mean, they're weak. They're not going to be able to resist me very much, and they don't have any allies because they're not allowed to ally with anybody without my permission. Or at all, really, I think, because it doesn't give you an option for them to ally and ask your permission. Okay, I have the game lower speed, and I'm going to try to demand annexation, which I can't. Okay, it is not possible to offer this before the 1st of January 1409, so I'm going to just go ahead and try to speed this up to 1409. Which won't take long, thankfully. I guess they got annexed the starting year of the game, which was 1399, and so 10 years, 1409.